Psychiatric institutions, since their inception, have been a breeding ground for human rights violations. Now, for real, the history of mental health institutions and insane asylums is abhorrent. It's disgusting and it's horrible. But when they were first conceived, they were a place where the people of a community could throw individuals that they straight up don't like looking at. And anyone who has any power over that individual, husband, father, family member, can say, hey, this person's unwell, can you get rid of them for me? And then they would get thrown into these institutions. And people really went willy-nilly with this. For example, hysteria. Women would get thrown into these institutions against their will if their husbands didn't like how they were acting. If a woman was talking back, not wanting to do her chores, got really into reading recently, anything really, and a woman could get thrown in there. Also, individuals who were unsightly in some way, if they were eccentric, if they had a bunch of stuff in their yard, literally any personality trait that was deemed odd could be used as an excuse to involuntarily institutionalize someone. And because this went on unchecked for so long, there have been periods in history when all of the institutions in the United States were so overcrowded that people were getting, even the nurses who worked there were getting violently ill because they were so overcrowded. They had no food for anyone. Everyone was just like laying in the hallways. Viruses were spreading. It was a grotesque human rights violation, right? And it's only been in recent years, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe in the 70s-ish, people started looking at this a little more closely, and they're like, there's got to be a better way to do this, because people with depression and women who like basketball, right, they shouldn't be in there taking up the space and the resources, for one, if you want to think that way. But a lot of even actual mental health issues do not require institutionalization. They can be treated by a number of different ways that are not going to violate someone's human rights. Y'all know about lobotomies, right? And how just very vague people's reasons could be for giving someone a lobotomy. And it was all done, and they were able to get away with these atrocities under the guise of science, right? Science cannot move forward without heaps. But the point is, people worked really hard. Some journalists actually went undercover into some of these institutions and wrote about their experiences, and it opened the world's eyes to this, and we were all like, ooh, we need to stop that. I suppose the point of this video is to remind everybody that this is a big deal, and if we revert back to if we revert back to a society and systems that allow people to be just tossed in to facilities like this against their will and without legitimate reason, then we face a very real threat of all of the bad things that already happened before when we did this happening again. So we've been here before, we've done it, we've seen it, we know what happens, and we learned from it. So let's not do that again. If you're interested in this subject, I did a whole hour-long video essay on the history of asylums, lobotomies, all that good stuff on my channel, which you can find in my links, and I'll share the video in the description below. Now, if you watch that, bear with me, because I was just getting back into making videos, and I speak kind of slowly, and I stutter, and it's a little awkward, but the information, I think, is good. And watch it on 2x speed if you need to, but I think that this is a subject that we need to remember today.